Hi, I am Finn and I'm from The Positive Planner. And today I am really excited to be doing a talk about mental health, my experience with my own mental health, my experience as a mental health advocate. And I've got some really great tips to share with you that are all completely free ways to help to boost your mental health. I'm going to wait for a few people to join. This is a live, but it will be saved on the Fit&Well profile for those of you that are going to come and look at this at a later date. So hello to those that have joined. I hope that you're having a nice Friday. I actually live in Kenya, and we're a couple of hours ahead here, so we're easing closer to the weekend. So hello, we've got a few more people joining now. So I've just introduced myself. My name is Finn. I'm a mental health advocate. I co-own a business called The Positive Planner. And we make planners and journals to support mental health and well-being. So today I'm talking about my own mental health, my work as a mental health advocate, and I've got some really great tips to share with you that are free ways to boost your mental health. So there's a few of you that have joined now, so let's get going. So as I said, I am Finn. And the reason I am so passionate about mental health is that for a really long time, I struggled and lived with mental health conditions that weren't diagnosed. And it was really, really debilitating to my life, and very difficult for me to live with and difficult for those around me to know how to support me. And so I'd lived with anxiety and depression. That's what I was diagnosed with at the time. But after I went on to have my son, who is now nearly 4, I became very seriously ill. So I had a mental health breakdown, and I was in a very, very dangerous place. It was a very uncomfortable place to be. And during that time, that I was really struggling with my mental health, I actually started to journal. So for me, I wasn't somebody that ever journaled before. I was very I'm dyslexic, so I was very dyslexic at school, and journaling and writing was just something I shied away from because I felt like I wasn't good at it. But when I became unwell after my son was born, I just had this something called me to start journaling, so that's what I did, and that's kind of how the Positive Planner was born. I'm very entrepreneurial. I've been self-employed since I was 19, and had several businesses. So when I saw how powerful journaling was, and how powerful it was at helping me manage my own mental health, I knew that I wanted to help other people to learn this. And I was really lucky that one of my close friends, Ali, also loved journaling, and she had suffered with postnatal depression and had also been using journaling as a way to aid and support her mental health. So that was where the Positive Planner came from. Ali and I had this passion for journaling. We were using it to support our own mental health and well-being, and we decided that if it was going to work for us, it could work for lots of people. And the reason we decided to create the Positive Planner is because we didn't feel that there were products out there that we could personally relate to, and we wanted something that we could get out in a coffee shop and feel really happy to use, something that looked trendy, that looked nice on your bedside table, but had practical resources in. So that's where the Positive Planner came from. But even at that time, I didn't really understand how to look after my mental health. So I had started journaling, which was a fantastic place to start, but it wasn't where I am now compared to where I was nearly 4 years ago, I have such a huge toolkit of resources and practices that I can go to that I know are going to really boost my mental health or keep me in as good a place as possible. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. When my son was 12 months old, the day after his first birthday, I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder. So it was quite a shock for me, but it was also actually it was the making of me, if you like. It was in the end, it was a great thing. And I like to talk about living with bipolar. I don't feel that I suffer with bipolar. I think it's just a part of me. It's not the whole of me. So today, some of the things I'm going to share with you are things that I do personally to keep my mental health in check, or things that I go to when I feel like I'm feeling a negative shift in my mental health. So hopefully there'll be some things in here that are useful for you. So I have made a few notes because there's 10 tips and it's quite a lot to try to remember. I think the reason I have these go-to tips is because I personally feel there's lots of advertising about quick fixes, ways to quickly fix your mental health, ways to heal and recover. And although those have a place, there are lots of things that we can do that don't cost money, and those are far more sustainable and things that we can kind of implement as just a routine within our lives. So that's what I want to talk about today. I dip in and out of this toolbox, so you too. It's about really taking the time to understand what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you, what works for you might not work for somebody else. So it's very much, for me, it's been a journey of trial and error, trying different things, seeing how that works for me. So I have a personal account as well, which is called pp_fin, and one of the things that I do on my personal account is I do daily mental health check-ins. So that is tip number 1, if you like, is to encourage you to check in with your mental health every single day. Why do I do this? Well, it's sort of like I've kind of got a bit of a name for it now. Every morning I'll go in and do my mental health check-in on my Positive Planner, on my pp_fin account. And I really do share the good, the bad and the ugly. It's not always easy to do that. It can be it's difficult, putting yourself out there if you're having a bad day, if you're not feeling very good. But to me, this is how we're going to break down the stigma around mental health, openly talking about it, talking about the good and talking about the bad, and showing people sometimes you're just really not feeling great. The point of my mental health check-in is to almost share that experience with my followers so that they can see, okay, so Finn's felt like this, what are the things that she's done to try to get herself out of that pickle? Or if I'm having a really good week, then I'll talk about the things that have actually really boosted my mental health and the things that are keeping me in that good space. So what I would say is, when you're doing your mental health check-in, it's important to pause. So to almost sit back and take the time to really reflect on how you're feeling. So how's your energy today? How is your head feeling? Are you feeling a bit fuzzy? Are you feeling lethargic? And just find a set of questions that work for you. And just give yourself that space to check in and really investigate how your mental health and well-being is feeling on each given day. What this does is it essentially is training your brain to naturally do this. So by repeating this habit each day, each morning, checking in with your mental health, it just becomes part of your daily routine. For me, it's wake up, check in with my mental health, have my coffee, maybe do another check-in after the coffee, because that sometimes gives me a good boost. So yeah, rather than like racing into your day, giving no thought to how you're feeling, the idea is to just sit there, really like do a bit of investigating, however that looks for you. And then you can tailor what you're going to do that day to how you're feeling. So for example, if I'm having a low day, then I'm not going to put loads of pressure on myself to do loads of different things. I'll have a smaller to-do list. If I can have a nap during the day, then I'll have a nap during the day. And then there's other things within my tips that I'm going to share that I would then visit. So yeah, tip number 1 is do your morning mental health check-in, because that's just a great way to start the day. Okay, so the next tip is breathing. And I know that everybody talks about breathing, and of course we have to breathe to stay alive, but I'm not just talking about taking a deep breath or pausing for a moment. This is about really learning and understanding what breath work is. Because although breath work is very, very simple, sometimes the simplest things in life are difficult. And I think mastering breathing, it can take a little bit of time, and it does take trial and error, but it can just be so I think it really, really can change the way that you feel in any given moment. So with the breath, what happens is, what am I trying to say? So essentially, if our breath becomes faster, more erratic and irregular, that triggers the stress hormone. So something maybe making us feel stressed or anxious, and that could be consciously or it could be subconsciously, which is the one that's quite annoying, because if we have no idea how we're feeling anxious, then that almost makes the anxiety worse. But we can interrupt that anxiety with breath, and it is really, really powerful, so bear with me. Essentially, the stress is going to trigger stress hormone. So our bodies are going to be pumped full of cortisol, and it doesn't feel very nice. Your body feels like a very uncomfortable place to inhibit. It's not very nice. So this is pumping around the blood system, and I'm sure that we can all relate. We've been in that space, and it's not very nice. So what we are trying to do is calm down the sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is going into this stress state. And by focusing on the breath, we can bring the body from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. And that is the place that we want to be, because it feels nice and relaxed and calm and zen, and yeah, it's just a really nice place to be. So again, it's not just as simple as I'll sit down and have a few breaths. There's techniques that are really, really powerful and really, really helpful. For me, the best breathing technique that I have personally found, and again, it's about trial and error. What works for you might not work for me. But rhythmic breathing has been the best sort of thing that I've found in terms of breath work. Now, when I talk about rhythmic breathing, for me, it's getting into a rhythm of breathing for a prolonged amount of time. So although a few breaths is going to help to start to calm the sympathetic nervous system, doing it for an extended amount of time, so 3 minutes plus, it has to be more, at least 3 minutes, is when it really starts to have that shift. So it takes your body into the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the golden place. That's where we want to be. So I do something called the 4-6 breath. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 breaths in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we count to 4 on the in breath, and we count to 6 on the out breath. And that for me is like the golden breath. But again, play around with this, try what works for you. In terms of like resources, I've recently discovered on YouTube Calm. So I think it's an app, the Calm app. But they have these really cool visual breathing videos that are maybe like a minute long or 2 minutes long or a few minutes long. And it's a circle, and then it kind of like leads you when you need to breathe in, a circle, and then when you need to breathe out and when you need to hold. So just go and have a play. Go and have a play and find what works for you. But yeah, I definitely would recommend, as annoying as it feels when you're in that state of stress, to take yourself out of it and go and do some breathing. It is really, really powerful. So that is like a massive, massive tip that I've got very into of late. If you want a bit more information on rhythmic breathing, then go onto YouTube and search rhythmic breathing, or search how to calm the nervous system. There'll be loads and loads of great tips. So I hope that's been helpful. My next tip is journaling. Obviously, I'm going to talk about journaling because it's where my business came from, and I'm obsessed with journaling. And obsessed with notebooks and pens and colouring pencils and all the great things that come with journaling. But it isn't just a fad. It isn't just something that looks nice. It's, clinically proven to have a massive and positive impact on our emotional health, emotional well-being and mental health. So, things that journaling are good for. Journaling gives a voice to things that you might not be able to say out loud. Okay, so pen to paper, you can literally say anything. It can be really hard to talk about things. It can be really difficult to open up. So doing it with a pen to paper is very, very helpful for many people, because it gives a space to things that we maybe find it too difficult to say out loud. So that is one benefit. Also, what will come up is you'll probably be surprised by some of the things that come up in your journaling, and it'll be like, oh, I don't know where that came from. I wasn't thinking, I didn't realise that was bothering me. So that's another great thing about journaling. It taps into the subconscious mind, which, subconscious mind plays havoc with our everyday and how we see things, because we don't realise that subconscious mind is having an impact on that. What journaling does is it helps us to tap into the subconscious mind. So those things that come up that we didn't realise we were thinking can be really insightful. So another great thing. Reading it back is really, really informative. So like having a good old journaling session and then having a read back of that is really powerful, actually. It can be very insightful, and it helps you to, say you're trying to work through something, maybe it's a difficult conversation that you need to have. Journaling can be very good, like, to just loosen you up for that conversation. Understanding experiences more clearly. So I've got a particular interest in trauma. It's a big interest of mine. I talk about it a lot on my personal account, and I have done a lot of journaling work to help me process trauma. So trauma that I've experienced. Journaling has been really, really powerful for that. It's allowed me to revisit that trauma from like the person that I am now, and it's been very, very insightful. And another way that journaling can be very helpful is to help you see things from another person's perspective. So perhaps it's been a challenging situation and you've not agreed with the actions of someone else, or you can't really understand someone's viewpoint. Journaling can be really good for that, because we can try to visit things from someone else's perspective. So yeah, lots and lots of tips about journaling. If you've just joined, actually, I'm doing 10 tips on 3 ways to boost your mental health. So far, we have covered checking in with your mental health every single day. So making that a habit, checking in the morning. We have covered breath work. It sounds easy, but it's not easy. It takes practice, but once you master it, it can be like life-changing. And we've just spoken about journaling. So just to finish up on journaling, there's loads of different types of journaling. Again, go onto the internet, have a search, go onto the Positive Planner page. We've got loads of tips on journaling, and we share regular prompts for journaling, and yeah, just another great thing to fit into your day-to-day life. Now, in terms of journaling for mental health, we designed the Positive Planner to for the purpose of helping people to manage their mental health and emotional well-being. And our journals they're really easy to use. They're broken down into small chunks that, I should have actually had one to show you, shouldn't I? Okay, maybe I'll grab one at the end if I have time. So we have 3 journals. We've just released one kids one, but essentially they're broken down to help you journal, because it breaks. Some people can find journaling quite an intimidating thing to start. So the Positive Planner is designed to guide you, and it's almost like a program teaching you how to journal. Okay, anyway. Let's move on to the next tip. Number 4 is gratitude. Again, you've probably heard this spoken about so many times, but I have to be honest, gratitude has just been a complete game changer for me. When I was very, very sick, just before being diagnosed with bipolar, I would often just think I couldn't get to the next day. It was, living in that state was so crippling. And gratitude, without shadow of a doubt, got me to the next day, because I would just try to interrupt those negative thoughts with gratitude. And it wasn't all airy-fairy and loads of magical things, because frankly, I wasn't in a place to feel like there was anything magical in my life. So what I did was I took it back to practical things. So I have a roof over my head. I have a hot meal to eat. My child has clothes to wear. So that's the great thing about gratitude. It doesn't have to be all the shiny, expensive things. Gratitude can just be really, really simple things. Particularly if you're struggling and you're not feeling very positive and you don't feel like you've got much to live for, gratitude is just a complete lifesaver. And actually, in positive psychology, it's strongly linked with greater happiness. So those people that practice gratitude regularly experience life with far greater happiness. So that's quite cool. Again, lots of ways that you can do gratitude. Sometimes I just end my day with one gratitude. If I'm not feeling very grateful, then maybe I end it with a list of things that I'm grateful for. And I've got those lists in my various diaries. And if I'm not feeling very grateful, then I'll go and read my list. So yeah, gratitude is really, really, really powerful. Just have a play, figure out what sort of gratitude works for you. It also features in our journals every day, even our new kids journal, because we're teaching kids to use gratitude as a way to support their mental health. Okay, so anyone new that's just joined, we're covering tips on how to support your mental health, 3 free tips to boost your mental health. So far, we've done daily mental health check-ins, breathing, journaling, and we've just covered gratitude. Tip number 5 is have a plan. We all have bad days. It's normal. Don't beat yourself up about this. Don't try to force yourself to have a positive day. If you're not in a positive space, yes, there's things that you can do to support yourself, but you can't just say, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be positive when I'm feeling not positive. It can actually make you feel worse. But what you can do is on a good day, you can make a plan for yourself. I have a plan because my moods fluctuate. I live with bipolar and my moods fluctuate, so I need to have plans in place. So on my plan, what do I do? Think about, make your plan on a good day. That's a very important part. No point making a plan on a day that you're not feeling very good, because you're not really going to remember what is going to make you feel good. So make a plan on a good day. So next time you wake up in a good mood, make a plan for the day that you wake up in not very good mood. It's very liberating. I've got that highlighted. It is so liberating, because as someone that lives with a mental health condition, don't suffer, live with, I feel really liberated when I wake up on a bad day and I can look after myself, because a mental illness doesn't mean that we're incapable of doing anything. It just means that our moods differ. So yeah, I feel great when I wake up. And well, I don't feel great when I wake up and I'm not feeling great. I feel great when I realise I'm not having a good day, but I've got plans in place to help make that day easier. I'm not saying it's going to make it better, but it's going to make it easier. So, things to think about. Have some nice frozen meals in the fridge. Something I have a tendency to do if I'm not feeling great is just to eat not very good food. And that's not going to serve me. So when I say not good food, I'm talking about processed, packaged foods, which have their place, definitely. But if your mental health is struggling and you've got some nice nourishing meals in the freezer that you can grab on those days, then winner. It's really good. A list of TV shows and films that make you laugh. Like, I've made the mistake so many times when I've been not feeling great, just watching something that's made me feel worse, and it's not good. So what TV shows make you feel good? What films make you laugh? Those are the things that you need on your list for your bad day. Who can you phone that is going to make you feel good? And really think about this, because to be honest, there's some people that I phone and they have the best intentions, but they're like, oh, how are you coping? How are you doing? And that's not what I need on a bad day. I don't need someone to draw more attention to it. I just need normal conversation and someone to make me laugh and someone to say, oh, yeah, that's a bit rubbish that you're not feeling good. Do you want to talk about it? If I want to talk about it, I can talk about it. If I don't want to talk about it, we can talk about something funny. So who are your friends that make you laugh? Who are your friends or family that sort of don't dwell on your mental health when you're having a bad day? They're the people that need to be on your list, and have a chat with them. Let them know that this is what you're doing, and ask them to put you on their list. Yeah, what else have we got? I've covered that. Films that make you laugh, yummy meals in the fridge, freezer. Yeah, like I say, have a plan, make a plan for your bad days. It's very liberating. I also have a whole list of little things that I try. So it sounds silly, but really cold water. If I have really cold water next to me, it just helps to give me a bit of a boost, because when I'm feeling low, I tend to feel quite lethargic. So yeah, just on a good day, think about what makes you feel good, and that's the stuff that needs to go on your list. Number 6. Okay, so this tip is something I talk about a lot. We talk about it on the Positive Planner page, and I talk about it on my Positive Planner Fin page. Okay, are you ready? Just have a day. It's okay to just have a day. There's so much expectation to do groundbreaking, amazing stuff every single day. Newsflash, it's not positive. It's not possible. It's not possible. Just have a day. And I say this so often to people, and to myself, okay, I'm just going to have a day. So go back to the tip we just spoke about, which is have a plan in place. Have a plan in place for the day that you're just going to have a day. Just accept, if you can accept something and just know that it will pass, it doesn't define you, it's just a day, and just get through that day however you need to get through that day. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I had a day on Tuesday. I just felt rubbish, for different reasons, but on the whole I just felt rubbish. So I just took the pressure off and I had a day. So sometimes, guys, just have a day. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. So that's tip number 6. Okay, 7. Go back to basics. Okay? Go back to basics. We don't have to make things complicated. Go back to basics. So what am I talking about when I say go back to basics? Well, what are our basic human needs? Our basic human needs are food, hydration, rest, and connection. There's a few more, but they, to me, are the most important. Food, hydration, rest, and connection. Okay, we need these things to stay alive. So on a day that you're not feeling great, or maybe there's a period of a few days and you notice that you're just not feeling so good, you can't really put your finger on why, just have a day and go back to basics on that day that you're just having a day. So, nurturing yourself with good food that makes you feel good. Having lots of water. I probably drink 3 or 4 of these a day. I do live in Kenya and it's quite hot, but still, I drink a lot of water. It's very, very good for you. Rest. If you're tired and you have the capacity to take a nap, take the nap. I know it's not always possible, particularly if you've got kids or you're caring for people or your job is demanding. But if you can take a nap, take a nap. It's fine. If you need to have rest, just have a rest. Lie on the sofa. Close your eyes. Just try it. And then obviously getting, decent sleep. So when you can getting an early night. For me, as someone who lives with bipolar 2 disorder, sleep is a massive trigger. So I find if I travel, then my sleep is shifted. I now know, okay, this is going to trigger this in me. So firstly, knowledge is power. I know that that's going to trigger it. So when it happens, I'm like, okay, I got this. I know what this is. But also, I am very aware that if I travel or if my sleep pattern is affected, the sooner I can get that back to normal, get that back into a good routine, then it's going to have great effects on me. So sleep, rest and sleep. I love sleeping. So, part of bipolar 2 is that you can have severe insomnia. So I felt like for so many years of my life, I lost so much sleep. So now I love the fact that I can sleep well. So number 7, go back to basics. And my basic 4, food, hydration, rest, connection. So by connection, I mean, you can't always get physical connection. Maybe you live on your own. Maybe, you're staying somewhere on your own. Pick up the phone, make connection that way. Who can you call? Who can you talk to? So food, hydration, rest, connection. Take it back to basics. Have a day. Okay. I'm going to recap for anyone who has joined. Today we are talking about 3 ways to boost your mental health and well-being. And so far we've covered morning mental health check-ins, rhythmic breathing or just breathing and how we can use breath to help to ground us, journaling, lots about that, gratitude, have a plan, have a day, and back to basics, my basic 4. Okay, the next one is nature. You probably knew that was going to be on the list. So, did you know that even viewing nature can help us to feel happier and calmer? So, it's not possible for everyone to get out of the house every day. And it's very easy for people to say, just get out, go and have a walk. But that isn't always possible. But what you can do, hopefully, if you've got a window, is you can stick your head out the window. Viewing nature, having that fresh air, that's going to help. And if that's all you can manage on that day, great. Get your head out the window and take a few deep breaths. But if we can get out of the house, then just try. I know it's so hard sometimes. The last thing you want to do is get out the house, but it has a very, very powerful effect on us. We crave nature. So take a walk. If that feels too much, sit on a bench or sit in the garden. There are so many studies that about the effects of nature on our mental health and well-being. But some of the things that have stuck out for me over the years learning about it is that being in nature, reduces anger, fear and stress and increases feelings of good, happy feelings. So I think that's really cool. Reduces fear, reduces anger, reduces stress and helps to increase feelings of, positivity and happiness. So nature. Okay, we've only got 2 to go. I feel like I've really been talking, so I hope that you're getting something from this. And if anyone's got any questions, pop them on and I'll try to answer. Okay, 2 more. Screen-free day. So I have screen-free Sunday. That's my day. Like Sunday, phone doesn't get taken out with me. Like I just try to stay off screens. I don't do my mental health check-in on my personal account on a Sunday. Sunday is my time, not screen time. And I tell you what, it's like a really liberating thing, just not to be available all the time. So yeah, screen-free Sunday. And my last tip is something we actually have done a post on the Positive Planner in the last few days, and it's little rituals. What are your little rituals that make you feel good? For me, and I think there's many people that this will probably be one of their rituals, having my morning coffee. So sometimes that will be in bed, or sometimes that will be in the garden, wherever. But just that ritual of making my coffee, warming up the milk and drinking my coffee, that's a little ritual for me. And there's other things too. Your ritual might be different, but just having those little rituals, that bit of familiarity. Before COVID, I was traveling quite a bit, and having that morning ritual with my coffee just brought that routine back into each of my day, wherever I was in the world. So that is my 10 tips. Thank you so much to everybody who has watched this and for listening. I'll just briefly cover them again. So my top tips for helping to boost your mental health and well-being: daily morning mental health check-ins, breathing and breath work, journaling, gratitude, having a plan for the days that you don't feel so good, having a day, so just taking a day, taking it back to basics, nature, screen-free time, and little rituals. So I hope that has been helpful. I really hope that that's been helpful and that there's something that you've taken away from it. If you want to follow us, you can follow us at _positive_planner, and my personal account is pp_fin. I'm a mental health advocate, co-creator of the Positive Planner, where we make planners and journals to support mental health and well-being. And I am so honoured from Fit&Well for asking me to be their guest today, and I really hope that that's been helpful for some of you. Have a great day, look after yourself, and come check us out on the Positive Planner and on PPFin. Thanks, guys. Oh, someone's asked me to repeat them again. Okay, here goes. Daily mental health check-in, best to happen in the morning to get you focused. Rhythmic breathing, or just breath work, journaling, gratitude, have a plan, have a day sometimes, take things back to basics, get out in nature, have screen-free time, and have your little rituals in place that make you feel good. Done. Have an awesome day, guys, and thank you so much for watching.